Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Wardy with Eat God's Way, a traditional cooking school, and I'm joined today by Deidre H. and her daughter, Isabella. Hello, ladies. And I'm so excited to chat with Isabella today and Deidre. Yes. I said that backward. I'm excited to talk to both of you, but I do know the primary spokesperson here is going to be Deidre. But it's great to talk to both of you about your journey with Eat God's Way. You've accomplished so much and you have something special you're working toward. So I'm going to turn it over to you so you can fill us in on a little bit about what's going on.
So what do we have special that's going to happen in another month or so? She said, baby. We're having a baby.
Yes.
So
Baby number
number 5.
number 5. Oh
So
my
we
goodness,
have
what a
3
blessing.
boys and 1 girl, and they're
Right?
8, 6, 4, and 2. And then my husband and I, so we're a family of 6, soon to be 7. And so I actually found you a long time ago. I think I was either pregnant with her or I just had her. I was researching einkorn and I found your video of how to make these cute little einkorn pizzas that you just bake on your rack of your oven. And that is when I
Yes.
first found you. And I just kind of followed you ever since then and used to watch Ask Wardy. For the last 4 years, I've struggled with my health and I had really bad gallbladder problems, especially during my last 2 pregnancies. About last summer, I think last July, I happened upon one of your videos where you were interviewing Dr. Smith. And I thought, gosh, I really think that there's onto something here. And I really trusted you and your advice. And I heard you talk about your journey and some of your food allergies and things you had conquered. So I just really thought he seemed like a good doctor. So I started his program. And then comes a change in diet, which is very overwhelming. I printed out his food lists and made them into a book. It's a lot.
You did. Oh, you are dedicated.
I do. I should grab the book. It's over here. I wanted it printed out because it was easier for me to look things up
Yeah.
while I was cooking and try to just process it all and memorize it all. And I was very overwhelmed because I'm the sole cook in our family. I love to cook. My husband can cook if he has to, but he doesn't like to. So I was just trying to figure out recipes and where to even start and was very overwhelmed. And somehow for years of me following you, I never realized that you had an actual cooking course until maybe this last year. I had seen the Eat God's Way and I get emails. And so then I thought, I would really like to do that. I bet you if Wardy has done Dr. Smith's program, then she probably has some low vitamin A recipes. And so I just kept praying about it and thinking about it. And finally, one day I just set up and we did it. And my husband was like, that's fine. Go ahead. I want you to figure out this diet. I want you to get better. It's very supportive, thankfully, with my health. So yeah, I joined your program and it has been such a big blessing. It has helped me so, so much. I already was using a lot of traditional cooking methods in our kitchen. When I first got married, my mother-in-law gave me a sourdough starter. My sister-in-law introduced me to nourishing traditions. So I knew a lot about soaking grains and sourdough, and I've been using a starter for about 10 years. So I felt pretty comfortable with that, but then I found out einkorn is high in vitamin A, so I had to switch flours. And so your course just helped me tackle like a new side of our diet that I hadn't experienced before. But I also found that over the years, I stopped soaking everything and was just doing sourdough and wasn't really doing the best I could do. And so taking your program again got me back to soaking all of our oatmeal, soaking all of our rice, stuff like that. So I basically started with cooking fundamentals. I was recommended that I start there first. That class was really good. It helped organize your pantry and get you started. And for anybody like a beginner that's never done sourdough or a person like me that's been doing it for 10 years, I just plugged right in and it was perfect. So I really enjoyed that class. But all along, my main goal was to do the batch cooking. I knew we were having this baby. I knew that it was going to be hard to ask friends to provide meals when I had a special diet now. We have done that in the past, but I didn't really want to do that this time. My goal was to get fundamentals done so I could do the batch cooking class. So after fundamentals got done, it was Thanksgiving time. And so then the Thanksgiving course was available. And I thought, oh, that sounds fun. So I did the Thanksgiving class and that was really fun. I found a lot of recipes in there that we used for Thanksgiving, but we even like the stuffing we've made on a regular basis now is really good. And we love the fresh cranberry relish. We really liked that. So, and my daughter, she's over there in the refrigerator, she really loved watching the videos of the pumpkin strawberry pie, and I think it was like how to make whipped cream or ice cream to go with it. But yeah, she loves watching videos with me. So after
Yeah,
the
oh,
Thanksgiving
sweet.
course, I think I did ancient grains and batch cooking at the same time, which was kind of crazy. And I remember thinking, can I really do this? But I feel like the time that you allow was doable for me. I usually had some extra time at the end if I was behind or whatever. So we did those two at the same time. I really enjoyed them both, especially the ancient grains course, because my passion is bread. I love making sourdough bread. I love making pancakes. We make waffles. From that course, we did bagels and pretzels and English muffins and so many things that I'd tried before and had other recipes, but all my recipes were geared towards einkorn. So I had to switch and learn how to not use einkorn. And I really love the ancient grains class. I love the first couple of videos where you go over all the different grains and like the properties of each one. And if you're going to mix them, which ones to use. And that was really, really helpful for me because I've used einkorn for, gosh, like 5 or 6 years. It's a big learning curve to learn einkorn. It's kind of tricky.
Yeah,
And so
sure
then once
is.
I knew that, I didn't know where to go from there. So that was really, really helpful. We're now doing mostly spelt, but we do use emmer, and we really like the emmer pizza recipe that you have and the emmer pasta. We like to make
You've
pasta for
done the
each.
pasta.
We've done the pasta. I have a pasta maker, but we haven't used the pasta
So you
maker.
just cut
I
them by
found
hand?
this little wooden tool that's like a roller, but it has
Uh-huh.
like little grooves in it.
Oh yeah, I've
And
seen those.
so like I just have to flour it really well, but you just basically roll it out really flat and you use that and it makes your little strips. And so
Perfect.
that's what we do
Great.
for like chicken soup. It's pretty much the only
Mm-hmm.
thing we make the pasta for. So I really enjoyed that ancient grains class. However long I was taking the class each week, my family was enjoying like bagels and pretzels and different
Mm-hmm.
breads. I probably enjoyed that the most just because bread is my favorite thing to do. And then the batch cooking course was of course super helpful. By then I'd already taken enough of your courses to know the recipes. When you showed something, I could go back and look up the recipe and know how to make that. But the batch cooking, I liked that it really focused on how to make a big quantity and how to store it. And so we just bought the gallon Ziploc bags from Costco. I got a bunch of freezer ones and the quart ones. And I even bought 2.5 gallon size to make pizzas.
Nice.
We've made whole pizzas and froze those separated by parchment paper because I usually make pizza once a week. So that class was really helpful that I learned all these tips and tricks of how to store stuff and not get freezer burn. And we've made a lot of soups. When I make bread now, I'll make 2 or 3 loaves at a time and we'll just save 2 to eat that week and then we'll freeze one. So those were basically some of the things that helped me. I knew that I could learn something. I know that I've been cooking this way for a while, but I knew that I'll learn something, at least some low vitamin A recipes, which I did learn a lot of tips and tricks of how to convert recipes. The ancient grains course, especially because it was a newer course, you had a lot of tips and things that you could alter to make low vitamin A. Plus the office hours have been really helpful. Like we learned how to do macadamia nut milk. We learned how to do yogurt with the macadamia nut milk, and we're using the yogurt to soak our oatmeal now, so I don't have to rinse it anymore. I really like that. And what I love is with the Vita Clay, the oval top, we put the oatmeal in there, we put the macadamia yogurt in there, water, and then we hit it on delay for 8 hours or 10 hours. And in the morning, I just give it a quick stir and breakfast is instantly ready.
That's what we do every day too. It's like the easiest thing. So amazing.
Because before I would have to rinse out the vinegar, which is
Yes.
doable, but it's so nice to have it ready.
Doable, but it's just easier because you're at dinner and you're just starting it to go, and then in the morning it's ready. You don't have to think about it again.
One of my biggest wins, I think, why you wanted to talk to me is we're having this baby. And so I was trying to prepare meals. I have a lot of support when I have the baby, but the last thing I want people to have to do is take care of me and my kids and make meals. So thankfully, we have a whole freezer in our basement, which we usually buy half a cow and stock up on chickens and stuff like that. And we also have an extra fridge and freezer down there too. And so I've converted and organized it all so that all of the meat is in one freezer and one freezer is just dedicated for these meals. So as soon as I took that batch cooking class and I bought the Ziploc bags, I just got to work, and I really didn't feel like it took me a lot of extra time. Whatever meal I was making for dinner, I would just try to make a double portion so we would have enough for that night's dinner and enough for one more whole dinner for a family of 6. And then I would just eat, and after dinner I would let it all cool. And then right before I went to bed, I would package it up and freeze it. So I organized the freezer about a week ago, maybe. And I didn't know how much was in there. I just just been throwing stuff in there. And so I put it all on our washer and dryer and sorted it all out and wrote a list of everything so I could count it. Kind of categorized it between like side dishes, which was mainly rice or potatoes. So I have a few vegetables and bread and then main dishes. I counted it all. And I think we had like around 29 or 30 meals, actual meals. And I was like, wow, it's really good. So then I did the math. I was like, okay, if I want to be off the hook for 6 weeks and I want my husband to be off the hook for 6 weeks and we need meals for 6 weeks, then I think I need 45 meals. So I think I need like
Yeah.
15 more, which is totally doable. I feel like we're not due till the beginning of April. So I've got
Another month
another like
or
6 weeks or
5, 6 weeks.
so. So yeah, I've just been trying to make extra. There was only like maybe once or twice where I did devote like a Saturday and we batch cooked a bunch of bagels and we did sourdough donuts, which those are gone. Those are completely gone. That was like for Christmas or something. So there was only like once or twice where I did spend like most of the day cooking, which was totally doable. But for me being pregnant, I was pretty tired the next day. So it's worked better for me to just make things in the evening. So I'm just trying to get these last 15 meals done. And it's been nice to have all those in the freezer. And I feel like I hadn't had a chance to really see the benefits of having these meals all prepped yet, except for last week I got a cold and it was on Sunday and I was just exhausted. And so I knew that I had made chicken soup the week before and I knew I'd made like a big sourdough French bread. And so I was like, I'm just going to pull that out. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to pull that out and we're going to have it for dinner. And it was so nice to just pull out a bag, thaw it out. I popped the bread in the oven for 25 minutes, I think, and dinner was done. And so I was like, this is what it's like after I have the baby and we eat all this food and I continue doing this. Now that I know how to do it, this is what it's going to be like. You might not have to make dinner every night.
6 weeks at post baby. That is huge. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
I'm
That is so
excited.
amazing. My daughter Hania did something similar. I don't think she had 6 weeks worth. I think she had a few weeks worth. And then unfortunately at the time, she did live in an area where they didn't know many people. So there wasn't like a meal train or anything. But anyway, it sure comes in handy. So I'm so happy for you. I'm also so proud of you because it sounds like other than the couple Saturdays that you devoted, you just literally cooked more when you were already cooking. Yes, when you're doing volume cooking, things do take a little bit longer, but they don't double. It doesn't double the time to double the meal.
Yeah.
So you've really made use of your time. And now look, you counted and you have 29 or 30 meals in the freezer
Mhm.
ready to go. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like a really good feeling. And even though I'm not quite at my goal yet, it's only been like a month since I started batch cooking. So I'm
Oh,
just like,
okay. So you
wow,
did that in a
6 weeks,
month.
I could easily, yeah,
Oh,
really just in the last month, pretty much every time I made dinner, maybe once or twice a week I didn't if I was tired. And I was like, tonight I'm just going to make whatever. I'm not going to make extra. But like you said, the only thing that maybe took a little bit longer that I noticed was having to put it away. The actual
yeah.
cooking part didn't seem like it took any longer to soak a few more beans and make a little bit bigger of a soup and whatever I was making. Before I went to bed, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta go put the food away, which took like 10 minutes.
Right. But it is one more thing before bed. So yeah, we can't minimize that when you're tired and pregnant, that it can be
Mhm.
somewhat of a hurdle, but you did it.
Yeah, no, I'm thankful that it's worth it. It's for sure worth it.
Good. You've been sharing all along different wins you have. So the big wins I'm getting so far is learning new ancient grains because you had a major dietary change,
Hmm.
learning new recipes for all your family's dishes because you're cooking on a special diet, the low vitamin A diet for your health, but you're doing it for your entire family to keep things simple. So you had to relearn and remake recipes. So that sounds like a big win. What have you seen with your health?
Well, like I said, I've had gallbladder problems with my third and fourth pregnancy. For sure, my third pregnancy, I had really bad gallbladder attacks, and we didn't know what was going on until after the baby was born. And then I got diagnosed with these gallbladder issues, and they've kind of come and gone for 4 years. And then when I got pregnant on my fourth, I didn't have any gallbladder issues during my pregnancy, but after he was born, like 10 days postpartum, bam, gallbladder issues. And so this time around, I knew this, and Dr. Smith confirmed that pregnancy, your body's under so much stress, like it's hard to detox, and it can really flare up the gallbladder problems. And for people that follow Dr. Smith, gallbladder issues can be linked through his experience to just like a buildup of toxins, and they're just forming. I've passed stones, I've done flushes and passed them and seen what they look like. And you're amazed that this comes out of your body, but our bodies are under so much stress and toxins. And so this time around, it was like, let's try not to have gallbladder attacks during pregnancy or after. And so far, I have not had any. This is around the time where I've had problems, like 7, 8 months. So far, I haven't had any problems. I haven't even had a tightness or a hint of anything. I have always had pretty good pregnancies. I just turned 39 this year. When I first started having kids, I was 29. So I know I'm not super young, but I'm also not too old yet. But at the same time, I haven't had a very bad pregnancy. I've had a good pregnancy. I've had good energy. With me being a little bit older and for the last 4 years had all these health issues, things have gone so far pretty good. One thing I did notice within the first month is my skin cleared up and looked a lot better. I'm still seeing some age spots here and there. I would say the hardest part of pregnancy on your body is the end. Like your body's really giving it everything it's got to fatten up this baby and nourish it 6 weeks before it's about to be born. And so I've seen some age spots that were a little bit lighter before or new ones coming out. So I can tell my body's really in the neck of it right now. But it'll be really exciting to see because I started Dr. Smith's program when I first got pregnant. We were having trouble getting pregnant. And so that was another big reason why I started seeing him. And we were surprised that we even got pregnant. And so it'll be interesting to see after pregnancy. I feel like I'll be able to dive deeper into the supplements and really doing his program because when you're pregnant, you're just trying not to make your body mad. You're just
Yes,
trying
yes,
to
yes.
keep peace, which I feel like I have accomplished so far. But I
Mhm.
did notice I never really broke out that bad, but my skin just looked clearer after about a month. And I know for us, I went off of pork. I've completely been off of pork for probably 2 months now. I don't really do any dairy or egg anymore, except for cheese. I cheat a little bit with cheese. So it's hard to say because I'm pregnant, but I definitely have just noticed overall I felt good during my pregnancy and my skin has cleared up a little bit. But I think really what I'm excited is after I have the baby and postpartum, continuing the diet and maybe playing around with my supplements a little bit more. I did a little bit in the beginning, but I would get headaches so easily and didn't want to upset my pregnant body. So I haven't really messed too much with adding zinc. I'm taking some, but I haven't really tried to tweak it. But overall, I just feel good. And I feel like the more I've learned about Dr. Smith, it was a hard pill to swallow and hard to accept from everything we've been taught. But I gave myself time to ingest it all. And following you helped because I trusted you. I trusted your advice and your knowledge, and you seemed to agree with him. So I thought, okay, then people must be doing something right here. And so I just overall feel like I'm doing the right thing. Even if I have only seen a few of the benefits, overall, I just know this is where God wants me. This is what he wants me to do. I'm doing the right thing. And most people say it takes 2+ years to see a lot of benefits. So I'm just in it for that long haul, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you have that perspective because it's not fast. And like you said, you're in this crucial time where you're pregnant. You're asking a lot of your body to get healthier as well as grow a healthy baby. So I think it's wise that you change your diet, but you're leaving those other things for later. It sounds like you've done the right pace for you. You were telling me earlier about beans. So what's
Mhm.
the beans issue for you and your family?
So my husband used to get really bad gas from beans, and he used to work on an ambulance. So he'd
Okay.
be 12 hours in an ambulance next to somebody.
Not good.
And basically it was like, don't make beans anymore. And I switched to just doing lentils because lentils didn't seem to bother him. And I would kind of get gas too, but not as much as he would. So we just quit having beans for several years, maybe 4 or 5 years. And then when I started Dr. Smith's program, he talked about fiber and he talked about beans being good. And so I really wanted to try to get back to beans. But I was like, I don't want to make my husband upset. I want to give him gas. He doesn't work on an ambulance anymore now. He changed careers. He now is a tile setter and a brick mason. But yeah, he's still just like, don't give me gas.
Yeah,
But I
right.
did invest in an Instant Pot last fall when they had all the sales. And I started just making sure I would soak the beans the night before and cooking them in the Instant Pot and didn't have any problems. And so I haven't tried cooking them like in my Vita Clay. I was thinking about testing that out. But yeah, so far we've been able to add back beans and it was really exciting for me to be able to make chili again. Of course, our chili doesn't have tomato and doesn't have some of the spices in it, but I was just happy to be able to make beans. I feel like they can be such a big part of the meal. I love
Yeah.
refried beans. We order a lot from Azure Standard. One month I just ordered like every kind of bean they had and just stocked our pantry this winter with beans. And I mixed them all up and made like a 9 bean mix that we use for chili. And we've done like chicken chili and ground beef chili. And we even have elk. I think I've thrown in elk chili. And I've been really thankful that we could add beans back and get us that fiber. And my husband, he's never complained that he's had gas. I've never noticed it. I haven't had any. That's definitely a big win that we can have beans again.
Well, I love hearing what you do. You seem very comfortable adapting recipes and making them your own and mix and match. I'm sure that's a product of you having cooked with Whole Foods for so many years, but I love hearing it because I love doing that myself. And I remember when we first got into whole food cooking, I did the same thing. I bought all the different kinds of beans, but I did it from Whole Foods. And actually, maybe some of them were Azure at the time. But anyway, I mixed them and we made our own. I think it was a 12 bean mix. Anyway, we ate off that and had like a 5-gallon bucket full. And we ate off that
Wow.
for months.
Yeah,
They
I
were
just filled
delicious.
up like big 1/2 gallon jars. We have a basement pantry that I keep a lot of extra stock, and then I have one shelf in here. I'm usually like the night before I'm trying to think about what are we gonna make tomorrow? What do I need to soak? What do I need to thaw out? I have to be like a one day ahead type of person, and then I can stay caught up with it.
Now I'd love to talk about your big win that you shared, not to compare it with others, but I think it's quite significant about your savings on
Oh yeah,
groceries. Could you
yeah.
talk about that?
Sure, yeah. Of course, when you're eating all organic and all whole foods and not processed, it does cost more money. But we've been eating this way maybe for about 5 or 6 years, really mostly all organic. There's a few things I don't get. I noticed since we started the program, of course, we switched from einkorn, and einkorn, I don't know why, but it is like one of the most expensive grains. So for us, when I found out we couldn't have it anymore, of course, I was disappointed and like, what am I going to do? I don't know what to switch to. But after learning and switching to spelt and immer, that's definitely saving us some money. If I would have known more about ancient grains, I probably would have just realized that I can use other ancient grains. I don't have to just use einkorn. There's others that are good. I could have been saving money a long time ago. I think also being able to add beans back in. Beans are fairly inexpensive and they're a good filler. A lot of times we'll do chilies, we'll do soaked brown rice and beans and some sort of protein. Sometimes I'll add celery, but being low vitamin A, we don't do a lot of vegetables anymore. Which sounds crazy, but we don't do bell pepper and we don't do tomato. And so I think the beans have helped, but I think just overall learning these different methods, like the batch cooking. We also bought a grain flaker and we're making our own
Mhm.
oatmeal now. So I think that's saving us money from buying oatmeal, like buying it in bulk, the oat groats, and then flaking it. I was buying oat milk all the time. I was making oat milk, but now I'm making the macadamia nut milk. And we get the macadamia nuts from Costco. Sometimes I get them from Azure. They're not organic, but a lot of them are sourced out of the United States, which makes me feel a little bit better about it. So that's like maybe one compromise, but that's saving us money. The oat milk is super expensive and it's not organic.
Expensive,
If you want
right?
organic
Yeah.
oat milk, it's even more expensive. I think I might have said like around $400 a month. I think I'm
That's what you
noticing that we're
said.
saving, which like we're a family of six and some of my kids are still small, but my 6-year-old and my 8-year-old can eat quite a bit. Even my 4-year-old can eat quite a bit. My husband
Mm-hmm.
eats quite a bit. So I think just overall being able to add things back into our diet and learning how to make my own nut milk. I also started making our own nut milk yogurt. That's expensive. They're not buying coconut milk yogurt anymore. And just recently I started making our own almond butter. We stopped
Oh,
using peanut
great.
butter and almonds are very heavily sprayed. We had to get organic almond butter or I get like a scratchy throat. I actually thought I
Mhm.
had an almond allergy for a while until we discovered what it was. It was just
Oh,
sprayed almonds really make my throat hurt. We've been buying organic almond butter and it is very expensive. And the only place I can really find it is from Azure. So I could only buy like once a month. But recently I just thought, why don't you just try to grind your own? And I've made 2 batches now and it's definitely much cheaper just to buy organic almonds, roast them and grind them up in your Vitamix. So
wonderful. Yeah, I can see actually how all those changes would add up to about $400 a month because when you're on a special diet and you need those kind of specialty food items, for whatever reason, oat milk is very expensive and almond butter is very expensive. And so if you can make it yourself and also adapt for your special ingredients. So way to go on figuring those things out, Deidre.
yeah, my husband's been
Fantastic.
happy. He was like, okay, so we're gonna spend how much a month for this cooking class? And he's very supportive and he knows I love to cook and he also knows it's good psychology for you. Like you're pregnant, you're on a special diet, you need to do something that helps you.
Support. Right.
I think I've been a member for about 3.5 months. And so after a couple of months of the food bill being down and him liking the food was like,
Yeah.
you changed our diet and I don't even really notice that much of a difference. Not to make fun of men or anything, but he was just like, I don't notice anything that different. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of things I don't make anymore. But he's like, but it tastes good and it's fine. We're all happy. Nobody's complaining.
Satisfied.
And so he's like, that was a good investment. You can keep doing the cooking class.
Oh, great. Well, we
So
are
yeah.
so happy to have you. Your participation at office hours and you do the work And it's fun to see your posts and can't wait to hear about the baby. So
Yeah.
hopefully you'll share in the group when the baby is
I'll
born.
definitely post a picture of the baby. We don't know what we're having. It's a surprise.
I've gathered. We are so proud of you and happy for you, Deidre. Well, we'll wrap up now just because I know your kids are,
Yeah,
baby is
everybody's
up
awake.
and the others, they're done with their alone time. So if I could just ask one more question before we go, when you consider our Eat God's Way cooking program, who do you think it would be good for?
I feel like it's so versatile. The way you have it set up is so nice that it's good for so many different types of people. It's been great for me as a mom and a family, and we have kind of a bigger family. So I really appreciate that. I think it's really good for people that want to be healthy, want to be more organic, but it's a lot to digest at first or know like where to start. I think it's a good place to start for anybody that just wants to be more healthy and wants to take that next step. And whether you really like to cook or you don't really like to cook, I think both aspects you tackle, because if people like to cook, it's got everything they like. And if they don't like to cook, then it's got tips for how to make cooking doable and easier. But I also see that it's probably really good for older couples, or like a lot of people said that they're cooking for one. And so I think
Oh,
that's
more and
helpful
more.
too. That's a challenge. I'm cooking for 6 people, and I think it would be hard to just cook for one person. So I feel like the way you have it set up, it's really good for so many different people and different life situations, really.
You for your kind words. That makes me feel good. And when the team hears more about your story and your kind words, they will love it too. Thank you so much, Deidre. We will be praying for you and looking forward to your news and
Thank
can't wait to
you.
hear updates. Thanks for spending time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for asking me. I was honestly like, really? You want to
Yeah,
interview me?
really. Of course. You're a standout.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're really impressed. And I'm sure your husband is proud of you too. That's
I think he's
incredible.
really happy
Saving
when the baby's here and he has all this food to eat.
Right, right, right. Yeah. And for those of you watching today, thank you so much for tuning in to hear Deidre's story. If you would like to know about any of our Eat God's Way cooking programs, just email or text me using the information that's with this video, and we will give you information and current enrollment dates on any of the classes that Deidre mentioned or others, because we have more besides, including some new ones coming right now at the time
Yes,
that we're filming.
I'm so excited for the new classes.
Me too. Me too. God bless you all. Bye bye.